Hey guys, Martin here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to talk about the potential side banner units that we could see for the upcoming Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Fat BUU banners. Of course, at this point, right, we still have not received an official reveal, so we are still going by Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku and Fat BUU being the actual picks for the two dual Dokkan Fests. Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku seems pretty locked in based on everything that a couple of people who normally post leaks or teasers have posted, but I've seen one or two things about Fat BUU. Obviously, the hint that was posted yesterday with the arrow going through the sphere seems to indicate, right, the Goku Kamehameha versus Fat BUU. We don't actually have 100% confirmation, so it'd be kind of funny to go through these speculation videos and then the banner turns out to be something completely different, but you know, obviously at the moment, until we get this specific news, World Tournament's wrapped up, the rewards come out tomorrow, there's not much else to be doing in the game or the community at the moment, so time to speculate and have fun thinking about the banners. And so we're going to talk about the side banner units. We'll start off here with the Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku banner. Basically just had a quick look through the category for Majin Buu Saga and tried to pick out some characters that I think would be good picks to be banner units for this Goku. I've kind of tried to stay a little bit more early on in the Buu Saga because that's where the fight comes from. Like, I don't think we'll be seeing, like, you know, a Vegito or Ultimate Gohan or something like that, right? But you never know. It could be Buu Saga from any part in the saga when it comes to the banner units, the EZAs, the Part 2 L, all that kind of stuff, right? We just don't know. So, going to go ahead and jump in. I've put a few in here starting on what I think is maybe the most likely to least likely, and a few random wildcard ones as well. So do let me know what you guys think could be the side banner unit for both of these guys down below in the comment section. So the one that I thought would be very interesting to start off with is a new Vegeta. So I've got this one up here simply because it kills two birds with one stone, right? We could get a Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, or we could get a Majin Vegeta. I know a lot of people, as I said in yesterday's video, I've seen people say that Majin Vegeta would have been a more hype pick for a dual Dokkan Fest than Fat BUU, which, whilst I don't disagree, I do think Fat BUU deserves a Dokkan Fest exclusive. So it would kind of make sense for a new Vegeta to be a banner unit for this Goku. If it's Majin Vegeta, then of course it means they share links like Over in a Flash for Ki, because Super Saiyan 3 Gokus always have Over in a Flash. They would obviously share links like Fierce Battle. I'm pretty sure the Angel Goku has Supreme Power, Super Saiyan. Like, they'll share a decent amount of links. And a new Majin Vegeta could certainly be interesting. I know people were mad that they wasted some of the Majin Vegeta animations on the free-to-play LR Barbady. I guess those same people would probably be annoyed if it was a banner unit that had the recreation of that part, instead of it being a standalone Dokkan Fest or an LR. But I think Majin Vegeta is definitely a possibility. And like I said at the beginning, we still don't 100% know the banners. The other Dokkan Fest banner could actually just be Majin Vegeta, but I do think it is going to be Fat BUU, at least on what we know now. So a new Vegeta as the banner unit, even just the Super Saiyan 2 one from the fight with Goku. They're not going to share as many links, but of course, depending on what Goku's leader skill is, then obviously these guys, he could still be a solid support unit for that team. And of course, a new Vegeta, especially a new Super Saiyan 2 one, will be a buff for the Vegeta family team that's of course seen a lot of buffs thanks to the Saiyan Day celebration. So I think a Vegeta as the banner unit would certainly be quite interesting, whether it be Super Saiyan 2, could even just be Super Saiyan, or of course Majin Vegeta. So I'm a big Majin Vegeta fan. If they're going to redo those animations and stuff, I would obviously personally like it if we got like a new LR, because the old LR Majin Vegeta is pretty outdated at this point. But who knows when we would see another Majin Vegeta. And if the banner unit was good, like if we're talking, if he's like, you know, King Vegeta level good, then I'd be perfectly happy with the new Majin Vegeta being a banner unit. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Then, of course, we have the Saiyaman version of Gohan. Now, there's a couple of different iterations that we could see. Like, this guy himself is one of the units that I touched on very at the end, but didn't highlight specifically in the which units could EZA video, because this guy certainly could be getting an EZA during this celebration. But we have the Great Saiyaman, and then it's like brackets Super Saiyan. We also have the one that just EZA'd on JP, who's the Great Saiyaman brackets Super Saiyan 2. And then there's also this guy with the same naming convention from the World Tournament. I think he's going to be one of the next ones to get an easy A on JP. So obviously before becoming Ultimate Gohan, before the like Kai outfit Gohan, we have this guy from the early BUU saga, right? Because this is obviously from the tournament and then the fight against Dabura. So I could see this guy being a banner unit, even though it's something that they have done before. If this guy's going to get an easy A during the celebration, then of course we would probably prefer it be the same sort of naming convention as this, or even a base form one that maybe transforms, just so we have, you know, more ways to use these units that are going to potentially be getting easy A's. But I could definitely see a Super Saiyan Gohan from the BUU saga at some stage here, usually, right, represented in the early BUU saga in the game as being the Saiyaman version. I could definitely see him getting the side banner unit slot for the Angel Goku banner. Then we have the Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku himself. So this is something that they've done in the past, and it was very much highlighted with like the Android 21 Dokkan Fest, where the side banner unit for Android 21 was just a different version of Android 21 with a different name, so obviously fit perfectly on her team. And we could see the same thing again here, where I don't think we have another good standalone Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku. There's the Int one that is going to potentially easy A, who transforms into Super Saiyan 3 Goku. But then, of course, we could get a standalone Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku as the banner unit, and then he's going to share a bunch of links with the Dokkan Fest. The only difference will be, obviously, him having prepared for battle over in a flash. But this guy would be a unit that, if he was a support for Goku's team, not only fits well on that team, but would fit well on other Goku family and Super Saiyan and all that kind of stuff builds, depending on what his support actually is. Because obviously if he's supporting, like, you know, the specific team for Goku, if it's Majin Buu saga, for example, then obviously he's not going to be good for just a generic Goku family team. But he has the potential for, depending, of course, if they're designing him in the way they should be designing these banner units, where they're there to complement the new unit and their team, because again, we use the example of like King Vegeta and the Tech Xayande Vegeta. Another Goku essentially as the banner unit would make a lot of sense in terms of fitting on those teams with the banner unit. I know a lot of people would be disappointed because, of course, the big meme in Dokkan is always that we get so many Gokus. So it would be kind of funny, right? The new Dokkan Fest is Goku and the banner unit is also Goku. So I know a lot of people probably wouldn't be happy with that, but in terms of logistics, like, and how it would work in the game and for the team, then it's obviously a good option because they're going to share a lot of links and teams, right? Then we have Goten. I think Goten could be an interesting choice. Obviously, you know, doesn't do a huge amount in the early part of the BUU saga, but could be an interesting choice to be the banner unit. I think considering it's a Goku, it's a lot less likely to be like a solo Trunks, but it could be a Goten. We could even potentially see a Goten and Trunks, although, like I say, I don't think we'd see a Trunks by himself, right, as the banner unit for the Goku banner. Although I suppose when Goku goes Super Saiyan 3, it's to buy time for Trunks to fly off to get to the... Is it to get the Dragon Radar, right? So it could be a solo Trunks based on that part, I guess. But yeah, I think a Goten or a Goten and Trunks is a possibility. When it comes to Gotenks, like I said, I feel like that's obviously because it's later in the BUU saga. I feel like they're going to probably stick to earlier, the same sort of, you know, events that have transpired in the BUU saga by the time we're at the Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Fat Buu fight, right? So no Gotenks, no Ultimate Gohan, no Vegito, that kind of thing, at least for part 1. So I don't think Gotenks is very likely. I think it would be Goten and Trunks at a push, or maybe a solo Gotenks. So if I had to go for what I think is most likely, I think it would be cool to get a new Vegeta, although I think a standalone Saiyaman or at least Gohan is probably a little bit more likely, and then even another version of Goku I think is a possibility. As long as it's a character that's on a bunch of the teams and will link very well and provides a good amount of support to the team build that you're going to want to build with the new Dokkan Fest, then I think that could be a solid option. Looking back at Majin Buu saga, obviously we have things like in the past we've had banner units like the TN who supports Majin Buu saga. Hercule is obviously an option. Videl technically an option, although I think it's more likely for her to be a banner unit if we were getting a new Hercule or Gohan or something like that. I did think another one, I guess, Shin. We have Shin and Kobito, the one that confuse, and then this card is actually Shin and all the other gods. We could probably get just a standalone Shin as a side banner unit. That would kind of make sense, especially if the Extreme banner was going to have like Barbody or Dabura or something. Of course, we'll talk about the Extreme banner next for the side banner unit. So there's a couple of other options, but I think the ones we've discussed so far are the ones that are probably the most likely. Mighty Mask, I guess, could also be in contention. Same with Saiyaman 1 or 2, or 1 and 2, because they're from the earlier part of the saga as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section, and let's jump over to talking about the Extreme banner unit now. Okay, so starting off with the one that I think is probably going to be the most likely, even though I guess we talked about in the superclass part the fact that I was trying to focus on units that were basically touched on around the time of the fight that the Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Fat Buu actually takes place. But I do think that Evil Buu is probably a really good option for a side banner unit for Buu, because some of the other characters that we're going to mention, whilst they could very easily fit onto the team that the new Buu will lead and provide support to it and things like that, this is probably the option that's going to give the most links, because all of the other characters are non-Buu characters. Because of course, at the time that Fat Buu versus Super Saiyan 3 Goku is occurring, of course, that's the only version of Buu that we've seen so far in the series. So Evil Buu comes a little bit later, but I do think a new Evil Buu as the banner unit would be very, very good, especially if we are going to see like the Tech Exchange Buu EZA, potentially even like Physical Kid Buu Super EZA. Then we've got like 4 new, essentially, if we count an EZA as new, right, as in refreshed and ready to use in the meta, I guess. 4 new, differently named Buu units for that team that could potentially be very, very good, right? So I think a new Evil Buu is probably what I would like to see the most. I don't know if it is the most likely, and like I say, it kind of goes against what I was saying for the superclass in part 1, but to be fair, that's largely because the wealth of options for superclass is just significantly more, right, than it is for the extreme class. So I think a new Evil Buu could definitely be very good. They're going to be on a lot of the same teams, so I think that will work out very, very nicely. Now, the next option after that would be something like another standalone Dabura. It feels like that is just a, like been there, done that when it comes to these side banner units for the kind of Extreme Buu Saga team. I mean, this guy literally is a Buu Saga Extreme Class Allies support unit. We talked about him in that EZA video, where hopefully he will get an EZA and potentially could be usable on the new Buu team anyway, so we probably don't want him being immediately replaced by a new Dabura. So some of the options that I thought of outside of these standalone characters would be a couple of different joined forces options. So we obviously have the LR Buu and Barbody that could potentially get their EZA during this celebration, but I think some other version of this could be quite interesting. Maybe Barbody that exchanges into Buu, like with that naming convention, right? Because then it would be Barbody / Majin Buu Good, so they'd have a different name. Because we don't want just a standalone Barbody either. I could have included him as an option here, of course, but we have the LR from the anniversary who could still potentially be usable if he fits onto that team. So we probably don't want another just standalone Barbody as well. So Barbody with Buu, whether they use this naming convention and he has the same name as the LR, or like I say, we could have Barbody / Majin Buu Good, and it could be a Barbody that exchanges into Fat Buu. It could be kind of like, imagine if they made a side banner unit that was kind of like the Sleepy Beerus LR from the anniversary, right? Where it starts off as Dabura, as Barbody, and he's just in like a standby straight away. And once you've had a certain number of turns pass, rather than him like waking up and transforming like Beerus does, he essentially just switches into Fat Buu, right? It's basically like him being in standby while the energy charges and then Fat Buu comes out, something like that. I don't know how much effort they will go into for mechanics and stuff like that when it comes to banner units, but we got the Battle of Gods Vegeta that transforms and has his own animation and OST and stuff, so something like that is certainly not out of the question for a banner unit for a celebration like this. So a Barbody Exchange Buu I think could be quite interesting. We also have the option for Barbody and Dabura. Again, there is the LR with the same name that could get an EZA, but they could very easily put something in where we have like Barbody's minions, right? So it could be Barbody and Dabura and Yakon and is it Pui Pui? Or they could just do Dabura, Yakon and Pui Pui. It could be Yakon and Pui Pui. It could be any sort of combination of Barbady's minions, right? Could be a side banner unit for the BUU banner. We also even have like these guys, right? There's the free-to-play Yamu and Spopovich. Now, their links are terrible. This is the only problem with not having a BUU as the side banner unit, right? Is that these characters are not going to link super well with the new Fat BUU. But I guess the whole point is, as long as they're well designed, even if they don't share a lot of links with him, you know, they will just be giving him a ton of support, maybe giving all allies like damage reduction or something like that. And in that way, they can still be a good banner unit for the team, even if they're not sharing a ton of links, because they could be a unit that you're just floating in slot 3, and then the new BUU, you're just running him with a link partner in slot 1 and 2 anyway. So it doesn't really matter too much about the links, and then the banner unit is providing a lot of support. So they literally could have a support. The side banner character could literally be called like Barbady's Army or something, right? And could literally be like Dabura, Yakon, Pui Pui, Yamu, and Spopovich, for example. Any combination of like these kind of characters collected together on a card, I think could be an interesting choice for a banner unit. But we shall have to see. And then, of course, I touched on it in part 1 because we talked about a new Vegeta. But then I suppose any Vegeta, even though the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta that transforms into Majin Vegeta is a super class and then transforms into Majin Vegeta and becomes extreme, realistically, the Vegeta from that part of the show is going to be an extreme type, or should be an extreme type, really. Isn't in Dokkan, potentially. But that, of course, brings us back to a unit that we mentioned already for Goku's banner. I've brought up a different version here to show on the screen, but Majin Vegeta, because, of course, Majin Vegeta is an extreme unit. So it would kind of make sense if Goku has a superclass side banner unit for his team, then Fat BUU's banner, if they were going to do a Majin Vegeta side banner unit, you could probably say it's more likely for him to be on BUU's banner. I think it works either way, right? Like the unit doesn't have to be a superclass banner unit just because the Dokkan Fest is a superclass, because we're past like, you know, the super and extreme meta, and it's just all about categories now. So Majin Vegeta could be on Goku's banner as long as he works well on Goku's team, then it makes perfect sense. But being an extreme unit, he could also be on the Fat BUU banner as his banner unit. So I think that would be an option, because of course if they designed him well enough and they put enough thought into the design, right, he could be the banner unit for Fat BUU, work really well on Fat BUU's team, but could also work really well on Goku's team for all the reasons we mentioned in the first part of the video, right, with the links and everything that he shares with Goku. And if he was just supporting, let's say, Majin Buu Saga characters overall, then he would work on both of those teams. So he would be an interesting option for either of those banners because of how well he would work with either of the headlining units. So those are the ones I kind of thought the most about, right? I think Evil BUU is probably the best pick. And then we just start kind of breaking down into like Barbady's minions kind of territory and any combination of those that they wanted to do. And then, of course, Majin Vegeta, I think, is a very interesting option as well. Because if we look back at the BUU Saga and we look at the extreme side, once we, you know, if we ignore all the other forms of BUU past Fat BUU, we kind of don't really have any other options, right, outside of Barbady, Dabura and their minions, and then Majin Vegeta, right? And everything else is like another form of BUU. So I think it would be interesting to see what they decide to do. Like I say, in terms of the links and everything, I think Evil BUU is probably the best option. I would quite like to see a Majin Vegeta, like I say, especially if he was well enough designed that he'd be good on both teams, and then Goku's banner could have a decent like Gohan or something like that, and then we'd get some buffs for not just the BUU Saga team in general, but like Super Saiyan's teams, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, all that kind of stuff, right? Because Majin Vegeta counts as Super Saiyan 2, right? So it'd be buffs for a bunch of different teams, whilst also being good for the units that they've released with, which would be a sign of very well-designed banner units. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are there any other characters that you would like to see or think we could see as the banner units for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the Fat BUU? Do you think it will actually even still be Fat BUU? I think, like I said, Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku is probably pretty locked in, but let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.